Hey, everybody, this is Lorraine.
And Jennifer, and I think you had a little bit of an epiphany lately. Who's your audience, Lorraine?
Okay, so let's start with the expression physician heal thyself, shall we?
Okay, let's do this.
And, for years, I told people small business, small business, small business, which actually it was when I ran the agency. My customers were small business owners. That was my bread and butter. And I created a podcast, more than a few words. I'm coming up on 16 years soon, right? So I've been doing it a while. And it is a marketing conversation for small business owners, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, I had this epiphany. I was thinking about it a few months ago, and it occurred to me when I was thinking about why I never drove any business. The podcast was good. We had an audience. My downloads were good, but it never drove business to the agency. And it was because the show was not for small business owners.
It's for somebody else.
It was for marketers, it was for my peers, it was for my friends. It was geeky, it was a little in the weeds. And maybe when I talk to some of my fun life coaches, maybe a little too feminine leaning.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the show. I loved all the conversations. And I couldn't get out of my way to realize my clients didn't care. They hired me. They weren't going to sit down and listen to this podcast.
Right.
I was smoking something that I shouldn't have been smoking.
Well, I mean, what happened? What was the trigger? What made you kind of be like, you know what, this is wrong. I shouldn't have been doing that.
Well, 15 years of stupidity is my first step. The second step is I sold Round Peg. So I'm not really serving a lot of small business owners
Right.
anymore. And I started looking at, well, who am I working with? Well,
Mm-hmm.
one of the big pieces of my puzzle right now is like I work with you and with your team, and I'm teaching them to do some of the things I taught my team to do. And I have another client who's a solopreneur. And I started looking at that going, they're not small business. I mean, you are a small business owner. You kind of straddle that fence. I
Right.
mean, you have more than probably a lot of what my clients do, but you still have the marketing geek side.
Right.
And I started looking at the content going, who's this really for? And it's so funny that anybody who knows me and knows the show, when I tell them it's not a marketing conversation for business owners, it's a marketing conversation. Everybody looks at me and goes, figured that out, did you? Nobody says to me, oh my God, Lorraine, I can't believe it really is. Everybody looks at me and goes, well, yeah, including, I should say,
Yeah.
Allison Carter, who was my co-host when we started the podcast.
I remember that. Well, when you think about it, like, I mean, I guess you started to think about it, like business owners talk about certain things, marketers talk about certain things. They're different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a section of like even in my world, like I don't know how many agency owners I know that don't really like marketing or don't do marketing or don't understand marketing, but they understand business. They're just two different worlds.
Absolutely. And it's a matter of where do you put your time? If you have time for a half an hour podcast,
Yeah.
you're probably going to gravitate to something that's more business, big picture business. Now, if you're researching what's going on in AI, if you're researching latest trends with some other tool, you're going to switch to a marketing podcast. That's why you straddle that fence.
Well, we're rarities in that we do like business and we like marketing. Like it seems like that's rare. At least I find it rare.
But the more I thought about the podcast, and I thought about like back in the day when we first started, we would do the shows live and we would live tweet them. So we were doing Facebook Lives. Think about it. And
Yeah.
10 years before Facebook figured out that was a thing.
Yeah.
Our audience was not business owners because business owners weren't on Twitter. Who was on Twitter? My
They were not watching a
friends,
live tweet.
my friends, my peers. And so as I looked over the history of the podcast and everything that I have done,
Yeah.
at every step along the way, this is a marketing conversation. It is a marketing conversation, but it is not for business owners.
So what's going to change? Like, what are you going to do different?
So I'm already starting to make those shifts. The first thing I did is I really thought about who my ideal audience is. You know, people will come and listen, just like Women by Lava Soap, but Lava does not advertise to women.
Yeah.
You know? So if a roofer wants to listen to my podcast, I'm not going to tell him, dude, go away. You don't belong here. But who I'm talking to is Marketing Melissa. And Melissa is probably 35 to 40 years old. She spent some time in corporate. She has a marketing degree, and now she's out on her own. And she's got some clients. She's doing things. But she's dealing with, how do I keep up with what's new? How do I stay on top of it? And she's also dealing with this in the back of her head thinking, is it supposed to be this hard?
Yeah.
Is this going to work? And so the podcast isn't going to change at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going with the What Went Wrong series. I'm going to do the marketing tips. All of that is for her. What's going to change is how I talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking about staying ahead and keeping your business one step ahead. I'm talking about bite-sized marketing no fluff, a little bit of inspiration. And I am rewriting everything. I'm rewriting all of my web copy. I am rewriting my bio. And that's the thing when you start rebranding and you start thinking about how do I do this?
Yeah. It's what you're hitting on is what you're really good at.
Mm-hmm.
Helping people like understand, like I hate using the word basic with you in the same sentence, but it's like the building blocks of marketing and then being able to stay ahead. Like that's you.
Yeah.
And, like you can take the building blocks and then be like, something new came out and you can look at it and you can be like, yeah, that is a good thing, or no, that's not a good thing.
And so that's kind of where I'm going. I'll tell you, ChatGPT was really helpful.
Yeah.
First thing I did is I went to ChatGPT when I started doing this, and I said, okay, tell me about this podcast. Who's it for? What's it about?
Yeah.
And then after about 6 weeks of playing with it and changing different pieces of copy, I went back and I said, okay, I am trying to shift my messaging. How am I doing?
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And it kind of went, well, I can see you're moving in this direction. This content seems really good. This is an area where you really still need to work. And I'm like, okay, thank you very much. I can do that.
We have a project for creating buyer personas, and I wrote a really long prompt. I think it does a really great job. And then if you do all the rest of your prompts with that buyer persona, you're definitely going to get a lot better results out of it.
Absolutely. And so I have been capturing everything that ChatGPT gives me as far as things I could improve, things I can do, because I can't do it all at once. And I think that's a big part of rebranding, is giving yourself the grace.
Yes.
I had changed my colors and I went to the 2 shades of blue, and the logo is just the solid blue. And that light blue really works well with my new audience. It's just a little bit softer. It doesn't have that hard edge, which, let's face it, even my other brands, Digital Toolbox.
You had some harsher colors there, and for me anyways.
Yeah, but just even the name, it was a toolbox. No,
that doesn't fit.
No, you
You know,
know,
you reminded me of that the other day about, taking a rebrand a little bit at a time. I actually just this past week got rid of the pink that I had in my brand on all the pages. And that was, maybe 3 years in the making.
yeah. But
That.
but sometimes you have to do that. You have to give yourself permission to do it a little at a time and to be sure that it's going to work. And yeah,
And
yeah.
it's a process what you're talking about, like finding your audience and
Mhm.
understanding. And it's just kind of putting those, oh, well, that's who I really like to work with, or that's what I'm starting to go down this, with working with event marketing and healthcare. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I'm really good at that. And that makes sense
Mhm.
to plan parties. I like to be the planner. I like healthcare. I was going to be a neurologist. Like, it makes sense that we're good at that. And that's what I like. But I wasn't thinking that way before.
No, but I will tell you that when I'm looking at my downloads, it's not a huge shift yet, but I haven't been doing it that long.
Yeah.
But my downloads on my new episodes are probably double. The
Yeah.
new voice, the new tone, all the new social shares are directed at that audience.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
Yay.
yay, yeah, yeah. More than a few words is still a marketing conversation. And whether you're building a business at your kitchen table or the corner office, if you're looking for a little inspiration, there it is.
And reach out to you where?
More than a few words.com.
There you go. All right. Well, take care, everybody. Bye
Bye
now.
now. We'll see you soon.